Man, I'm popular tonight. My phone will not stop. I am so sorry, y'all. That was actually my husband that just called me now because he's in Kentucky and I'm here in Kansas City. So, like I've already brought up the fact that we are having a house built. We bought some land and we're having a house built. And so it's been crazy. It's been like a whirlwind of shit, just insane. And now we're like starting to get down to the wire. So our house that we live in here in Kansas City is sold and it closes on the 20th of April. And the moving company, hey V Dub, the moving company will be here on the 17th of April to take like all of our furniture and all of the heavy stuff that's in our house that we're taking with us. And so now it's been insane. So like my husband, we bought two shipping containers, if you know what those are. Those are like those big giant metal thingies. They're like, I don't know how big they are. They're big. They're big shipping containers. We bought two of them. And the company that's delivering them is dropping them off on our property tomorrow. And we're going to be using the shipping containers as storage units. And we're like slowly moving all of our stuff out to Kentucky. And we're going to be storing it in these storage containers while our house is being built. So after our house closes and we have to be completely out of the house, my husband is going to go ahead and go to Kentucky with the dogs and they're going to be staying in our camping trailer while I'm going to stay here in Kansas City for a while. Um, and just kind of like hang out with the kids or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like first of all, I'm not living in my camping trailer. I love my camping trailer. It's beautiful, but I'm not living in it until my house is built. I'm just not doing that. And I'm damn sure not fucking renting anything because I'm not doing that either. So so I don't know what I'm going to do while our house is being built. The contractors are working on the house. They are. And that's another reason why my husband keeps going out to Kentucky is because he feels like he has to micromanage shit and he has to look over their shoulders and make sure they're doing everything to his liking, but whatever. So that was him that just called me. But yeah, back to like the subject that I was on, again with Miss L, I just can't get on the I sympathize for you. I feel sorry for you. Oh, let me give you my shoulder to cry on. I just can't. Like I sympathize for the situation. I understand the situation. It's not a good situation to be in. It is a terrible feeling. It does destroy you from the inside, but again, you allowed this shit to happen to you for 6 years. And now that it's gotten to this extreme, now that it's gone to this extreme, you want to oust him. You want to drop his mugshot. You want to drop his photos. You want to talk all this shit about him. Kentucky has some gorgeous expanses of land, but the cities are trash. Very true, Raven. Very true. Very true. That's why we'll be out in the country. But now that it's gone to this extreme, now you want to sit on YouTube and you want to get sympathy and you want to tell your story and you want to cry and you want people to feel sorry for you. And I just fucking can't. And I'm sorry. If that makes me a bad person, it makes me a bad person. I just like every time that I start to feel a little bad for you in your situation, like your voice comes back into my head about the things that you said about my best friend. And I just cannot allow myself to empathize. I just can't. So I'm not trying to be a bitch. I'm not trying to, say that domestic violence is right because I don't agree with it whatsoever. But at the end of the day, like, you can't be in that situation getting your ass beat every day of your life for 6 fucking years and then have the audacity, you and your abuser, let's get that correct. You and your abuser have the audacity to come online and completely and totally disrespect a woman that was murdered behind a domestic violence situation. You and your abuser. So I just kind of feel like fuck you both. Fuck you both. Like how fucking dare I don't even want to call him Section 8, okay? Because he looks like he was on Section 8. But at the same time, like, I, how can I empathize when you're online literally all the time? You jumped on every fucking panel to talk shit about Tiffany. You and the man who was whooping your ass, who was doing all of these things you said he was doing to you. And I just fucking can't. Like, I'm not trying to, I don't think that your situation is funny by any means. I don't think that it's funny at all. Um, but I just can't feel bad for you. And I apologize. No, I don't apologize. I don't apologize. Because I hear both of you. And then all of the fucking shit that Section 8 did to people. Like when Section 8 was blowing up my phone like 30 fucking times, back to back to back to back to back. And you sat there and co-signed him. You sat there and you co-signed his fuckery. Everything that he did to people, you co-signed his fuckery. And you thought the shit was funny. But now you want to tell the truth about what was going on behind closed doors. I just can't get with that. I just can't. So, no, I don't feel bad for you. The situation sucks. I'll admit that. But I don't feel bad for you. I mean, you put up with it for 6 years. You did that to yourself. And I'm not victim blaming you at all. I'm not. But the first time that he broke your ribs or whatever the fuck it was you said, you could have left and been done with it then, but you didn't. You stayed. I don't know. So yeah, before my last stream ended because my husband called my phone, um hold on, let me read this. The bottom line with the exposure was to get money for rent, but if your rent is 1180 a month and you make 2400, you can pay your rent even if you miss some meals paying your rent first. Oh my god, YouTube centric. I literally had that conversation with Phoenix this morning. I literally said that. Literally. But except for I don't know how her rent is 1100 because I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I looked up because the address of where Section 8 was living was obviously her address. So I looked up those apartments and I saw that one bedrooms were like $854 a month or $857 a month. They're not expensive. They're not expensive at all. And absolutely, you're right, Harley. She did victim blame. She victim blamed you. She victim blamed Tiffany. But now that the dial is pointed at her, she wants to be victimized and she wants to be sympathized. And I just can't fucking do it. Well, I looked up the address in which was on Section 8's record or whatever. And of course, the apartment is in her name. I did see that. The apartment is in her name. And like literally, if you look them up, I don't remember the name of them and I don't care to remember the name of them, but they were like a one bedroom was like 857 a month. So, or 850 a month or some shit like that. So I literally said to Phoenix this morning, I was like, okay, if she's on here telling people how she gets paid $1,200 every 2 weeks, that's $2,400 a month. How, making $2,400 a month, can you not afford 850 bucks a month when you have no car? So you have no car payment, you have no car insurance, and you're one person to feed. So you can't pay your 800 and some dollar a month rent off of $2,400 a month and still survive when you have no fucking car, no fucking car payment, like literally. How is that possible? How can you not survive on that? I'm just going to be honest, guys. I make 21.50 an hour. Well, that's more than what a lot of people make, and they still manage to make it on their own. So the math ain't mathin'. And so when Mike, I listened to a playback of Mike's show when Mike said that there was only a $20 donation, and I thought to myself, well, fuck, she should be grateful for that because why should anybody donate any fucking way? She has a full time job where she said she makes $1,200 every 2 weeks, and literally when you look up those apartments, it literally has a one bedroom listed for like 800 and something a month. So, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I said, I just can't get down with like how you did Tiffany when Tiffany was murdered. I just can't. Exactly, Phoenix. We talked about that too. Jamie hated on me, lol. I got two cars and I'm not bragging. Paying two insurance premium is a headache. Fuck! Listen, oh my God. We have a house, we have a truck, we have my Challenger, we have our Hellcat, we have a camping trailer, we have a hauling trailer, we have jet skis, we have a boat. I mean, the fucking insurance is through the fucking roof. Okay? It's through the fucking roof, literally. Like just insurance alone. We paid over $12,000 in personal property taxes for the year of 2025. It's fucking bananas. So if you're telling me that you make $2,400 a month and you can't pay your fucking rent, there's a problem somewhere. Somewhere there's a problem. Insurance is the biggest scam, isn't it though? Like I think our homeowners insurance alone, just our homeowners insurance on our house is like 6 or 7 grand a year. Why would the black sector donate to Miss L when she called more than one black person the word that I absolutely will never say in my life? Agreed. Agreed, Don King. Agreed. Agreed. You know, yeah, there was a GoFundMe for Tiffany's funeral, but people from our community, friends, people that we grew up with, they donated more than the sector ever donated. So when Tiffany's GoFundMe got up to over $6,000, like if you would have went and looked at the people that actually donated, it was more people that we actually knew in life than it was the sector. And don't get me wrong, I'm very appreciative to everyone in the sector who did donate for Tiffany's services. 100% I am. 100% I'm grateful. But you're right. Tiffany was never a racist. Tiffany never came on here and called anybody out their, race. None of that shit ever fucking happened. Like Tiffany was hardly ever even on YouTube, like she was more of a spectator than anything. So, but somebody had asked me in my last stream before I got cut off is, what advice would I give Miss L or what advice would I have given Tiffany? And I was responding to that question because that's a great question. And I will tell you, like, Tiffany and I were like sisters, Um, we knew everything about each other. And I think the one thing that hurts me the most thinking back on some of the, and I'm sure that if she were here, she could tell you the same thing about me. But one thing I think back on when Tiffany was alive was some of, I just, I just wish that she would have saw what I saw in her. I just wish that she could have saw the amazing, funny, smart, beautiful, intelligent woman that I saw when I looked at my best friend. And I wish that she could have known how much she was really truly worth. And I wish that she would have loved herself as much as everybody else loved her. But there was a lot that was happening in Tiffany's life, previous before she was murdered. She had lost her grandparents who especially her grandfather. When Lonnie passed away, Lonnie was like the closest thing Tiffany ever, like, there's nothing on this planet she would not have done for her grandfather. She loved him so fucking much. And when Lonnie passed away, I think that's when things really started to change for her in her life. And I think that she just got into a dark place, and then she met this guy who she actually thought for once was a decent and good guy, who turned out to be nothing but a despicable, awful human being that took her life for no fucking reason, all because she told him not to come to her home in the middle of the night with her daughter there. She didn't live with this man for 6 fucking years. She didn't get her ass beat by him in the past. So be fucking grateful. While you want to sit up here and cry on YouTube now with the camera on, be fucking grateful that every day you can open your fucking eyes. Be grateful that whenever you pick up the phone to call into work because you have bruises, be grateful that you can do that. Because Tiffany can't. So before you get on YouTube and you fucking make fun of someone who was murdered behind domestic violence, you better check your own fucking situation. Because it is disgusting to me. It's disgusting to me how now you can sit here and cry and say all this shit was happening to you, but yet you and your fucking abuser talk so much shit and co-signed each other. Yeah, she did. She did, Dookie. She said a lot of foul shit. And so did Section 8. She even had memes that she would post of like Tiffany's face in hellfire and like a fucking Tiffany's decapitated head with a butcher knife dripping blood. And oh yeah, a lot of shit, man. So no, I can't fucking feel sorry. I just can't. I just fucking can't. So I guess the only advice I can offer to anybody is that before you get online and you do some shit like that, make sure your fucking house is clean. You know what I mean? Make sure that shit's not going on in your own life. Exactly, Dookie. That's what I'm saying. Like it's so hard for me. It's so hard for me to feel sorry for her because of what she did when Tiffany was murdered. Tiffany's father's name is Crazy Work for personal reasons. LOL, that's not a common name. It was her grandfather. His name was Lonnie, and he was amazing. He was so amazing. But Section 8 was a piece of shit and she stayed with him for years, so who cares? Right. I mean, and I that's kind of like what I question too. Is like, okay, if he was beating your ass for 6 fucking years, the first time he ever put his hands on you, or the first time he ever broke one of your bones, why in the fuck did you stay in that? Like that apartment was in your name, an IE. It was LONNIE. It's not hard for me. She took it so far with me. I just cannot. Some shit is unforgivable. Exactly. Exactly. And I know like Phoenix and I both kind of like because we talked about this a lot throughout the day and we kind of both went back and forth like I want to feel bad, but I can't feel bad. You know, like I said, I don't feel bad for her at all, but I do sympathize for the situation in general. Like like I said, I'm not a supporter of domestic violence at all. I'm just not. She wanted LA, he didn't want her, so then she wanted Mike, he didn't want her, so she settled for Section 8. You know, I don't even care how the two of them ended up getting together, I really don't. I mean, you lay down with a dog, you wake up with fleas, you know? I just when I saw his picture, I just I just started cracking up laughing. I'm sorry, but I just started cracking up laughing because 'cause I'm like, "This is the motherfucker that tried to torture everybody?" This is the he's 5'11" and weighs 230 pounds. What a fat fuck. Like, this is the motherfucker that, like, called my phone and blew my phone up 30 fucking times, and this bitch sat and co-signed it? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you a bitch. I use that term loosely. I use the term I call a lot of people bitches, and it's not like a derogatory thing. But you know what? Life can flip, so it shouldn't be done regardless. I never made fun of domestic violence, deaths, or family deaths. Right. Right. So, but I am kind of like excited that my husband's not home tonight, and not because I don't want to be around my husband, but because I get to stretch out in our California King all by myself, and that is gonna just feel amazing to me. I'm excited to stretch out across my bed. So yeah, like I said, I kind of like went back and forth with myself if this is like even something I wanted to talk about, or even if I wanted to like, you know, but the more I thought about it, like all day, it was just fucking with me. And I'm like, yeah. And especially when I saw like her latest live where she was on camera and then she started bawling and crying and she was trying to get everybody to look at her black eyes. I'm like, yeah, yeah, I got to say something. And then when it really triggered me when I listened to the playback and she made the comment that when she was on the ground and he was choking her, there was a speaker by her head. So she instantly thought of Tiffany. That really triggered me. That fucked with me because really, you thought about Tiffany in that moment, but in all the times you opened up your mouth to talk shit about her, you never thought about her then. You never looked at your situation and had any consideration then. That's fucked up. So yeah, that pissed me off and that kind of triggered me. Can't keep it real. You going to L to be the top snow of the sector. No, not at all. Not at all. Like, I've hardly been around. Like, literally, I would not have known that this shit was going on had somebody not have reached out to me to tell me what was going on. Because I've been super busy. Like, I was out of town over the weekend. I got back home. What is today? Tuesday. So I got back home yesterday afternoon, and then my husband left this morning. So between my house getting built out in Kentucky and then the stuff that I had to do over the weekend, I have not been paying attention, and I kind of feel bad about that because I feel like I've missed a lot. No wonder she only had one donation. We didn't forget. Right, Harley. Right. I have literally been like living my life and enjoying my life. I call BS on that one because who is thinking about YouTube when their life is flashing before their eyes? Right. Right. But it triggered me when I heard her say that. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're in a fuck situation and now you want to think of that. But you made fun of that when it happened. Remember? Remember? When it all came out in the wash, everything that happened to Tiffany when Tiffany was violently murdered, it was funny then. But now you're in a fucked up situation and you want to think about it. So I don't know. Last thing you want to do is come to the internet and air it out on the internet. Wait, exactly. Which is why, like I said, like I'm having a hard time believing that finally after 6 years and this shit fucking happens. Now all of a sudden you want to put his face out there. You want to put his business out there. You want to put his audio out there. You want to do all of that. But when he first started beating your ass, it was okay, right? Because you guys were so in love. You were so in love and he bought you a ring. You were gonna marry Section 8 millionaire. He was the best thing on the fucking planet. Even though he was beating your ass, he was the best thing ever. And you always try to portray like you guys had this great, wonderful internet love, this great, wonderful internet relationship. Honestly, it was probably a fight over meth. She hooked up with the troll. What did she really expect? I mean, she always tried to get on here when she would go live and they were live together. They portrayed like they had this perfect internet troll love, and and the whole time it was bullshit. She did a lot of dirt, was sucked and ate and Mike, and now she's a damsel in distress. None of this should have made it to YouTube. Exactly. Exactly. So she would sit there for hours and talk to Section 8 in the chat. Right, right, right. So, but now because it went this far, it's too far. And no, too far. Taking it too far would be like you wouldn't even be alive to tell your fucking story. The roast gods knew we needed the smoke for the sector. I can't wait for Pat to cook. Exactly, Phoenix. Exactly. A safe man is everything. Love is not supposed to hurt ever. Amen. Amen. And I'm so lucky. I truly am. Like I'm truly blessed in my life because my husband is patient and he's understanding and he puts up with a lot of shit from me. He really does. My husband puts up with a lot of shit from me and I'm truly blessed, especially over the past over the past year where Tiffany was killed, I had shut down a lot and I had like nightmares and terrors and um, I just was severely depressed and I didn't want to talk to anybody and I didn't want to deal with nothing and I just wanted to be alone. And like it was really hard for him to understand, like my husband kept telling me, just talk to me. Just let me take your pain. Let me take your pain so that you don't have to be like this. And you can't, I would have given anything for someone to have been able to take my pain, but it was hard, and I went to therapy. I still go to therapy. Like I'm not ashamed to admit that I see a therapist. I'm not. And I think that therapy has really helped me in some aspects. I still have the grieving thing where I feel the anger and I feel the what ifs and I feel the bargaining and I feel all of those stages of grief. I'm still going through it. you know um but I have an incredible husband. I truly do. Only a weak man beats on a woman for nothing, right? I feel bad for Miss L once she flashed her tits to her show earlier today. That kind of threw me off. What? I didn't see that. I didn't watch long enough to see that. I don't. So, okay. So, there again. So, you finally come out of the abuse closet and you're throwing this man all the way out on YouTube. You're showing his face. You're telling his name. You're telling people where to go find his mugshot. You're telling your story. You're telling all these horrible things that happened to you. You're allowing someone to play audio of this man on his show. And then all of a sudden, you decide to go live without a camera, or I'm sorry, with a camera, without a filter. You decide to go live and do this whole show yourself. And all of a sudden you're like, right, exactly. I was so getting there, Phoenix. I was so getting there. Like, okay, now you got this man locked up and it's like, hey, YouTube, this is what happened to me. Now he's sitting in jail. Let me show you my tits. Like, what? Hey, one person watching, here's my tits. Right. Oh my God. I was so getting ready to say that. It just took me a minute because I was babbling. Like, how do you do that? How do you get a man locked? I mean, I'm not going to say you got a man locked up because really the man's actions got himself locked up. But how do you like continue on and you're crying and you're all these different mixed emotions, but all of a sudden you're like, well, hold on, here's my titties. I'm just fucking whatever. I can't. This shit cannot be real life. This shit cannot be real life. So, yeah, I was sodomized. And after he sodomized me, he made me suck the shit off his dick. But here's my titties. Oh, see, no, now I'm being mean. I don't want to be mean. I really don't. I don't want to be mean at all. But I don't understand that. Meet up. I mean, are the boobs nice? Shut up. Right. For 6 years, Phoenix. 6 years she did that. For 6 fucking years. Titties are titties. You can turn on your television and see a pair of titties. There is nothing fantastic. Broke her ribs twice and she stayed. Right. Right. But not only did he break her ribs twice and she stayed, but he broke her ribs, sodomized her, raped her, made her suck the dookie off his Franken beans, and then she still had the nerve to come onto YouTube with him and talk shit about a woman that was murdered. Right. Beat up stuff. All right, y'all are taking that one way out there. So, I just like I said, I mean, why this time? Like literally, why this time? What about all the other times that he did that shit to you? All those times were okay, but now this time it was finally enough was enough. Like I'm having a I'm kind of conflicted and confused on that. Like what started it this time that made you finally say, "Yeah, I'm gonna have him go to jail." And I don't know because me personally, I don't fuck with the police. Like I'm not gonna call the police on nobody. I'm gonna handle that shit myself. I can't wait for LA to drop the parody about this story. Like literally something had to happen that made this time a lot worse than the other times. I don't know. It's none of my business. But I'm sticking to um my own feeling on this that like I just can't feel sorry for you. I can't be sympathetic to you for some shit you made fun of. Like I just can't. But I am getting ready to hop off here because I'm going to stretch out across my bed and I'm going to enjoy every bit of sleeping in it by myself tonight. Super excited for that. Like I don't know how I don't know. I think that even like if I were single after like having this a California king size bed for as long as I've had one, even if I were single, I think I would still have to have this size of a bed because it's just fantastic just to be able to just completely spread eagle across the whole thing and not give a fuck. All right, y'all. Well, I said what I had to say. I'm gonna let it go for now. I just like I said, I can't. I can't be sympathetic. I can't be any of that. I have to distance myself from that situation. I got a king. The Cali King is just a few more. Listen, I like those extra inches, okay? I like those extra inches. Yeah, apparently so. I don't know. You'd have to go watch all her stories and just catch up with it. So, hey, Big J. Hey. All right, y'all. Have a great night. Peace out.